Does your cat ignore you when you call? Does your pet's name just seem to hold little to no value as far as your feline is concerned? Does it seem like you'd have better luck moving a mountain than getting your cat's attention? In this material, we'll talk about a trick that you can use as a way to cater to your cat's desires, a way to make your cat respond to the latest and greatest, rather than simply calling them by name. In this content, we'll also talk about why felines often struggle with the call-over compared to that of a dog, and why a cat's name just overall seems to hold very little weight at times. If you keep calling your cat to no avail, then I encourage you to stay tuned. Getting your cat's attention, the secret to success. It's likely right under your nose. Interesting topic, and I've got you covered. Stay tuned. I'll first start things off with the trouble behind it all. If your cat is ignoring you, ignoring their very own name, there's likely a reason for that. In fact, there's likely several reasons for that. Before I speak about the trick, let's talk about the headache. Dogs, our canine friends, will play a rather large role in this topic because the contrast can be quite stark. You call a dog, at least most of the time, what happens? Not only do they arrive at your feet, they're more than happy to come from far and wide to greet you. You've called and they've answered. Dog owners, the great dog owners of Senior Cat Wellness, you can probably tell everyone that most of the time, that's exactly how it goes. Well, here's where the rub comes into play. It can be easy to simply say, well, the dog just responds to the name, so why won't the cat do the same? A name is a name, right? Doesn't my cat know its very own name? What's the problem? It really all comes down to how dogs and cats think, a bit of hardwiring. Dogs associate their names with action. They don't really associate it with something stagnant. The name just doesn't go through one ear and out the other. Dogs, even canines that are not trained, often associate their name with a request to move, to get up, to come over. It's a call to action. It's a command. The tail starts wagging and the dog responds. Cats, totally different, at least on the surface, at least most of the time. Cats don't associate their name with any form of physical action. Calling the name is not associated as a request. Sure, your cat could give a meow, a quick look over at you in response to their name, but it's not a call to action. Actually, it's not really a call to do much of anything. This is why many novice cat owners will often be in conflict and wonder if their cat even understands their name, because when they call, nothing really happens. Let me assure you, to ease your fears, that your cat, unless you just named your cat last week, they know exactly who they are. When they hear you loud and clear, and they do hear you loud and clear, but that probably doesn't mean too much to them. In fact, your cat could be thinking, wow, that person really likes to say my name a lot. How interesting. Felines, many times, they need a reason to move, a reason to respond to their name. Quite frankly, they need a reason not to ignore you. Cats are hardwired to be independent, and they typically do things on their very own terms. Felines will ignore their name and not respond if they're busy. If something else has grabbed their attention, they won't act. If your cat is in the midst of stalking something, that alone will be more than enough to cause them to ignore their name. It's also worth noting that most cats respond to far more than just mere words. It will take more than mere words. Cats are more likely to come on over to you because of how you smell and the way you move rather than just saying a name, saying a word. This is why the images that almost seem as old as time, of people whistling for cats, snapping their fingers, all crouched down and clapping their hands, body language and sounds to get a cat's attention, rather than simply a name and nothing more. Sometimes the best way to get a cat to move is to move yourself. The best way to get a cat to respond physically is to be physical yourself. The clapping, the snapping, random hand movements of intrigue. Another reason why some cats ignore their name is because, well, nothing really happens. This is what I like to call unintentional training. Sometimes in those early days of ownership, it can be easy to call your cat's name just to test to see if they know it. That word, that sound, you want to know if they associate it with the name that you've given them. Well, when the day arrives and they actually do respond to what you've been saying, at that time when all that went down, was there any type of payoff, or did you just smile that they came over to you and just walk away? Some cats will ignore their own name because there's never really been a payoff ever. Why should I come over there? I've done it 7 times and nothing's ever happened. If a cat has been conditioned that nothing good happens when you call, they'll simply think, "Nah, I'm good. I'm staying right here." Those early rewards, don't sleep on the concept. It could keep your cat responding to their name for many years to come. It's important, especially during those early days of ownership. What it all really boils down to is that cats, not always, but many times, they need a reason to come on over. Cats never like to be forced to do anything. So if a feline is going to stop what they're doing and come over to you, respond to their own name, there better be something good in store. It better be worth their time. Now, I'm sure many viewers are sitting back and thinking, why all of the hand-wringing and jumping through hoops? My cat always responds to me. Yeah, and this is likely due to a bond of trust that was formed long ago. Now it's just second nature. You show up on the scene and your cat is more than happy to be right there in your personal space. It's really just that simple. However, if that bond just hasn't formed yet and your cat's still trying to figure you out and get to know you, it can be quite difficult. Your cat will need more than just you being there, seated on the sofa, to get their attention. With all of that said, it's now time for the trick. And this trick, it will be different for different people, different cats. It's all based on your pet's personality. Everything that makes them special and unique. If the name game is indeed failing, remember what was used the last time your pet came over to you. Remember what happened the last time you captured your cat's attention. The trick is to simply play on the latest and greatest. Did you use a toy? Did you drag a toy across the living room floor and they came running? Did you shake that box of cat treats? Did you use somewhat of a unique nickname where you said it in a different voice tone and pitch? Let me just say, how you say the name is important. Right from the jump, never say your cat's name in the same way that you say every other word. Sometimes cats don't respond because the name just doesn't stand out from everything else. Changing that tone and pitch can work wonders. Spice it up a bit. The objective is to not only play to your cat's personality, but to capitalize on their behavioral tendencies, perhaps even some of their weaknesses. It can be easy for a cat to ignore their name, but will they avoid a chance to, say, stalk a toy, to eat those treats, to respond to your body language? The advantage that you have and will most always have is that cats are always in search of the next best thing. That's why they're so curious. Your objective is to play to that strength. Present yourself in a way in which your cat will have no choice but to be interested, because you are the next best thing. What you're doing is the next best thing. If your cat thinks they're missing out, they'll want to find you and give you that attention. Make it fun, change it up. When things get too predictable, try something new. Now, this, of course, won't be a forever thing. As I mentioned earlier, once that bond of trust and loyalty has been established, your cat will likely walk over to you just at random. You won't have to do anything. They'll want those pets and cuddles simply because they want them from you. You won't have to bait them or coax them to do anything with respect to your attention. They'll gladly give it to you because they'll know that you are the safety net. They'll know that you provide all the comfort and the peace that they are seeking. Cats, they learn very quickly how to push our buttons, a way to make us give them what they want, a way to make us do what they want. Never be afraid to flip that script. The more you get to know your cat, the more you'll be able to understand their personality and use it to your advantage in a positive and responsible way. To the audience of Senior Cat Wellness, have you ever had to use a few tricks of the trade to get your cat to respond to you, to get your pet to come on over and enjoy playtime and a few cuddles? Do you use those cat treats, a new toy, perhaps baby talk style voice? I talked about pitch and tone. What about a nickname? Are you now proud to say that those days of your pet ignoring you are now days of the past? Your stories and general thoughts on this topic, that comment section, as always, it's all yours. And if you enjoyed this content, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. I'd love to have you as a member of the Senior Cat Wellness family. And until next time, thank you so very much for watching, and I will talk to you later.